6 major motorcycle brands are facing potential bankruptcy in 2025 because they made one fatal mistake. They started building bikes for posers instead of riders. While they are desperately trying to hide their financial troubles, the market has already delivered its verdict. Showrooms are empty, inventory is piling up, and their core audience has abandoned them. They sold you a lifestyle. The reality is a business model that is completely broken. In this video, we will analyze the catastrophic decisions that led these 6 brands to the edge of collapse. We will show you why their bikes are now a terrible investment. Stick around, because the final brand on our list is not just in financial trouble. It is being kept alive by a parent company that is about to pull the plug. Royal Enfield's entire business strategy now rests on a foundation that's crumbling beneath them. The company's dramatic global expansion has masked a critical problem. They are selling motorcycles that look the part but fail to deliver the reliability that even casual riders demand. What began as a charming quirk, that vintage aesthetic with character, has become their Achilles' heel. Dealers across North America and Europe are reporting alarming return rates, particularly on entry-level models like the Meteor 350 and Classic 350. One Midwest dealer confided that nearly 18% of their Royal Enfield sales come back with significant reliability complaints within the first 6 months, a rate that makes their Royal Enfield business line completely unprofitable despite manufacturer incentives. The company positioned itself brilliantly as an affordable entry point to classic motorcycling, but this price-focused strategy has backfired spectacularly. By attracting price-conscious consumers with minimal mechanical knowledge, they have created a customer base with premium expectations at budget prices, a recipe for perpetual disappointment. What is more devastating is that Royal Enfield's target demographic, urban millennials attracted to the Instagram-friendly aesthetic, are precisely the customers least likely to develop the brand loyalty needed for repeat purchases. They buy the look, not the riding experience, creating a customer acquisition treadmill that is becoming increasingly expensive to maintain. The brand's financial vulnerability is evident in their dealer network expansion strategy. After aggressive growth from 2020 to 2023, new dealership openings have abruptly halted in Western markets. Industry insiders report that Royal Enfield is quietly offering unprecedented support packages to keep existing dealers afloat, a last-ditch effort to maintain their distribution network despite plummeting customer satisfaction metrics. Number 5. Indian motorcycles. Indian motorcycles represents one of the most deceptive success stories in the industry. Behind the veneer of their much-celebrated resurrection lies a company that has fundamentally miscalculated what motorcycle customers actually want in 2025. When Polaris Industries revived the Indian brand in 2013, they had a clear, focused mission to challenge Harley-Davidson in the heavyweight cruiser segment. This strategy initially showed promise, with the Chief and Scout models capturing market share and critical acclaim. But what happened next reveals why Indian now faces a potential bankruptcy scenario that few are discussing publicly. In their eagerness to compete across multiple segments, Indian rapidly expanded their lineup to include everything from flat trackers to baggers to adventure tourers. This aggressive expansion required massive capital investment, but failed to deliver proportional sales growth. The result is a bloated product line with numerous, slow-moving models that dealers struggle to sell without heavy discounting. The numbers tell the story clearly. While Indian proudly touts their growth against Harley-Davidson, this narrative obscures a troubling reality. Their market share gains completely plateaued in 2023 and began reversing in 2024. The addressable market for premium American motorcycles is far smaller than Indian projected, and they have now saturated it. Even more concerning are Indian's increasingly desperate financing programs. Industry analysis shows they are now offering some of the most aggressive financing terms in the industry, including 0% APR for 72 months on select models with minimal down payment requirements. These are not the actions of a financially healthy manufacturer. They are the desperate moves of a company that needs to convert unsustainable inventory levels to cash, regardless of long-term profitability. Indian's premium positioning has created another structural problem. Their motorcycles command high prices but do not deliver sufficiently differentiated value compared to competitors. A fully loaded Indian Challenger approaches $30,000, entering territory where discerning riders can choose from numerous superior alternatives from established European and Japanese manufacturers. The brand's identity crisis further complicates their outlook. Indian marketing simultaneously emphasizes heritage, technology, and performance without articulating a cohesive value proposition. This confusion extends to their product development strategy, which seems increasingly reactive rather than visionary, leaving them without a clear direction as the market evolves. Number 4. Triumph. Triumph Motorcycle stands as a cautionary tale of what happens when a manufacturer mistakes a temporary trend for a permanent market shift. Their heavy investment in the modern classic segment, initially brilliant, now threatens to become the very anchor that drags them under. The British manufacturer built its contemporary renaissance around beautifully designed retro motorcycles like the Bonneville and Thruxton. For nearly a decade, this strategy paid dividends as urban professionals and style-conscious riders flocked to these accessible machines that promise both performance and aesthetic appeal. But the modern classic bubble has now definitively burst, leaving Triumph dangerously exposed. What happened? Simply put, the market became saturated. Every manufacturer from Royal Enfield to Honda now offers retro-styled alternatives, many at significantly lower price points with comparable or superior reliability. The exclusive appeal that justified Triumph's premium pricing has evaporated, creating inventory buildup that dealers cannot move without substantial discounting. This market saturation creates a secondary crisis that motorcycle manufacturers rarely discuss publicly: catastrophic resale values. Data from major auction platforms reveals that 3 to 5-year-old Triumph Modern Classics now retain just 52 to 58% of their original manufacturer suggested retail price, significantly underperforming the industry average. This collapse in residual value creates a deadly cycle. First-time Triumph owners discover their significant financial loss only when attempting to trade up, making them unlikely to purchase another Triumph. Triumph's heritage marketing strategy compounds their problems. While their British pedigree once commanded a premium, today's value-conscious riders increasingly prioritize reliability, features, and total cost of ownership over romantic notions of heritage. In blind comparison tests, riders consistently rate Japanese and even some Chinese alternatives as offering superior value propositions. The company attempted to diversify with their Tiger Adventure lineup and Trident 660 naked bike, but these moves came too late and without sufficient differentiation to offset their overwhelming dependence on the now collapsing modern classic segment. Their recent pivot toward electric motorcycles through their TE1 project signals their recognition of the crisis, but the massive capital requirements for this transition far exceed their available resources as retro bike revenues decline. Triumph now faces a perfect storm. Their core product line is losing both exclusivity and market appeal, while investments in new segments have not generated sufficient sales volume to compensate. The financial pressure is evident in their recent manufacturing consolidation, with production increasingly shifting from their Hinckley headquarters to their Thailand facilities, a move designed to reduce costs, but which further undermines their premium British positioning. Ducati's potential bankruptcy represents the most spectacular example of how premium pricing without proportional value ultimately alienates even the most loyal customer base. The Italian manufacturer has pushed their luxury positioning to breaking point, creating a crisis that threatens their existence as an independent brand. The evidence of Ducati's miscalculation is impossible to ignore at the dealer level. Premium models like the Panigale V4 and Multistrada V4 now regularly sit on showroom floors for 8 to 10 months before selling, often requiring significant discounting despite their supposed exclusive appeal. One major Ducati dealer in Southern California reported that their inventory turnover rate has declined by 67% since 2020, creating unsustainable carrying costs. What's driving this collapse in consumer demand? The answer lies in Ducati's fundamental misunderstanding of their actual customer base. By relentlessly pushing upmarket with ever-increasing prices, they've abandoned the middle-class enthusiasts who historically formed their core market. These inflation-conscious riders haven't left motorcycling. They've simply shifted to the used market, where 3 to 5-year-old Ducatis offer 80% of the experience at 50% of the cost. The ownership cost crisis extends far beyond the initial purchase price. Ducati parts costs have increased at more than twice the rate of inflation since 2020, with routine maintenance items commanding extraordinary premiums over Japanese alternatives. A standard valve adjustment on a Multistrada V4 now approaches $2,000 at many dealerships, a cost that's simply untenable for all but the wealthiest riders. Service availability compounds this problem, as Ducati has consolidated their dealer network to focus on flagship stores in wealthy urban centers. Owners in secondary markets report wait times of 4 to 6 weeks for routine service appointments. This creates a paradoxical situation where customers pay premium prices for bikes they cannot reliably use due to service bottlenecks. Ducati's strategy of targeting wealthy posers rather than practical enthusiasts has created another structural problem. Their bikes are increasingly purchased as garage ornaments rather than regularly ridden machines. This reduces service revenue, parts sales, and the community engagement that historically drove brand loyalty. The average annual mileage for new Ducati owners has declined by nearly 40% since 2018, according to industry surveys. The financial sustainability of Ducati's high-margin, low-volume business model depends entirely on maintaining pricing power. As inflation-conscious consumers increasingly recognize that Ducati's premium prices don't guarantee a premium ownership experience, this pricing power is rapidly eroding. The brand's parent company, Audi AG, has already begun internal discussions about potential divestiture options, as Ducati's contribution to group profitability continues to decline. Kawasaki's alarming financial trajectory stems from a profound identity crisis that has left both customers and dealers confused about what the brand actually represents in 2025. Once the definitive performance brand with clear positioning, Kawasaki now appears schizophrenic, simultaneously trying to maintain their supersport heritage while pivoting toward practical segments they do not dominate. This confusion manifests most visibly in their current product lineup, which lacks coherent direction. While their ZX-10R Superbike and Ninja Sport Bike families were once category-defining machines, they have received only incremental updates, while Kawasaki diverts development resources toward practical models like the Versys Adventure Tours and KLR Dual Sports. The result is a brand that excels in neither category. Dealers report a sales imbalance that would have been unimaginable 5 years ago. Practical models like the KLR 650 and Versys 650 generate consistent, if unspectacular, sales, while once flagship supersport models like the Ninja ZX-6R gather dust despite aggressive discounting. This sales pattern reveals a brand whose performance credibility is eroding without gaining corresponding strength in practical segments. The company's strategic confusion extends to their marketing, which simultaneously emphasizes their racing heritage and practical versatility, messages that fundamentally contradict each other and confuse potential customers. This mixed messaging has proven particularly damaging with younger riders, who increasingly choose more clearly positioned alternatives from KTM, Yamaha, or even Chinese manufacturers like CF Moto. Kawasaki's attempt to maintain their performance image while pivoting toward practicality has created the worst possible outcome, a brand that feels compromised in both directions. Performance-oriented customers perceive Kawasaki as having lost their edge, while practical riders do not consider them a segment leader compared to specialized adventure and touring brands. The financial consequences of this identity crisis are becoming impossible to ignore. Kawasaki Heavy Industries has systematically reduced their motorcycle division's capital allocation since 2021, prioritizing their aerospace and energy divisions instead. This resource constraint has further limited Kawasaki's ability to develop truly innovative motorcycles that could re-establish their market position. Perhaps most tellingly, Kawasaki's parts and dealer support has deteriorated significantly, with dealers reporting that back-ordered components now regularly take 12 to 16 weeks to arrive, a clear indication of cash flow management problems within the motorcycle division. This parts shortage creates a vicious cycle of declining customer satisfaction, reduced brand loyalty, and decreasing new unit sales. Harley-Davidson's potential bankruptcy represents the most seismic shift in motorcycling history, the culmination of decades of strategic failures that have finally caught up with America's most iconic motorcycle manufacturer. Despite desperate attempts to rebrand and diversify, the company now stands at the precipice of financial collapse. The first unmistakable indicator of Harley's terminal decline is their catastrophic dealer traffic collapse. Across their once enviable dealer network, foot traffic has declined by an average of 58% since 2019, according to confidential dealer surveys. Many flagship locations that once buzzed with activity now sit eerily empty, even on peak weekend hours. One major Midwestern multi-line dealer reported that their Harley showroom now generates less than 25% of the floor traffic it did just 5 years ago. This traffic decline directly correlates with Harley's demographic death spiral, a crisis the company has acknowledged but failed to address effectively. Their core customer base of baby boomers is literally dying faster than new riders are joining the brand. The median age of a new Harley purchaser has increased to 54 years old, meaning half of their customers are older than that, creating a mathematically unsustainable customer acquisition model. Competitive displacement has accelerated this crisis. Japanese and European manufacturers now offer mid-size cruisers that deliver superior performance, better reliability, and modern features at price points 20 to 30% below comparable Harleys. Even longtime Harley loyalists are making the switch, with brand defection rates reaching unprecedented levels. Internal documents reveal that over 60% of riders who leave the Harley brand cite value for money as their primary reason for switching. The fundamental flaw in Harley's business model has become impossible to ignore. They built an empire selling lifestyle rather than motorcycles, and that strategy has finally collapsed under its own weight. The premium pricing that once signaled exclusivity now simply highlights the poor value proposition of heavy, technologically outdated motorcycles that fail to deliver competitive performance, comfort, or reliability. Harley's financial engineering has temporarily masked the severity of their situation. The company's financing arm, Harley-Davidson Financial Services, has systematically lowered credit requirements to maintain sales volume, creating a ticking time bomb of potentially non-performing loans. Industry analysts estimate that up to 22% of Harley's current loan portfolio is at high risk of default, a figure that would render their financing division insolvent if realized. The company's attempts at diversification have failed to generate meaningful results. The Livewire electric motorcycle subsidiary continues to burn cash with minimal sales, while the much-hyped Pan America Adventure bike and Sportster S have failed to capture significant market share from established competitors. These diversification efforts represent desperate attempts to find new revenue streams as their core business implodes. The most damning evidence of Harley's imminent bankruptcy comes from their relationship with dealers. The manufacturer has quietly begun accepting motorcycle returns from dealers unable to sell them, a practice unheard of in healthy manufacturer-dealer relationships. This inventory reabsorption represents a last-ditch effort to prevent a wave of dealer bankruptcies that would trigger mandatory financial disclosures about the true state of Harley's business. What we have witnessed is nothing short of an industry-wide failure. These 6 brands made the fatal mistake of confusing marketing with value. They built businesses selling image rather than motorcycles, creating a house of cards that is now collapsing. The motorcycle market has evolved beyond brand worship and lifestyle marketing. Today's riders demand actual performance and value. These are qualities the manufacturer sacrificed in pursuit of style and premium pricing. They built motorcycles for people who wanted to look like riders, instead of for those who actually ride. This is not just a temporary downturn. It is a fundamental market correction. When manufacturers prioritize posers over enthusiasts, bankruptcy becomes inevitable. Which of these failures shocked you most? Have you noticed these warning signs at your local dealers? Comment below with your thoughts. Subscribe now because I will be tracking every bankruptcy filing, desperate merger, and brand collapse as this industry reckoning continues. The next brand to fall might be one nobody expects, and you will not want to miss what happens next.